It's really good to be with you. It's so good to be with you. Facebook says, "You're live. We're building an audience for you. Keep going. We're telling your followers to join your video." Facebook is so kind and compassionate. Facebook says, "We're still spreading the word that you're live. This may take a minute." I'm always live. It's just a matter of who's present here as well. But this is live, this is real, this is from the source, from the heart, authentic, raw, genuine, coming at you from Bali, Ubud, U-B-U-D, amidst the palm trees and the cicadas and the crickets and the roosters and the fish and the pond behind me. With an open heart, I say hello, welcome you to this here and now. So blessed to be sharing it with you. So grateful to be sharing it with you. Just had a great online course, session number 9 of an online course from anxiety to empowerment, which is still able to join. You can click on the link below. Welcome, Zachariah. Welcome, Timothy. I love you too. Thank you for being here with us. So we got into some great stuff in the online in the session for the online course today, and then like last week, I'm seeming to like to take it public to everybody and just share some of the insights that are coming forward. And as always, what's most important and more important as we evolve and awaken in our consciousness is not the words. The words are just symbols, right? They're just like symbolic forms of pointers to something else. But more and more, instead of having symbolic pointers to something else that they're pointing at, we're communicating more and more directly, right? And that's what we're interested in communicating here. So there's words being said, but there's a direct resonant field, a vibrational frequency that we open to together in the space together that's beyond the words. And more, as I'm talking with people, communicating with people, sitting with people, being with people, meditating with people, looking into people's eyes, being present with people, feeling their hearts, connecting, unifying, the words are less and less important. And there's a direct understanding, transmission, more words, that's here, that's felt, that's boom, direct. It doesn't take time to communicate or understand. There's lots of insects here, and some of them like to crawl on my back. And everything is welcome in this infinite field of presence. So, grounding into this space of being. Hey, Anthony. The fellas are with us, the men, today. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you so much. I appreciate so much you being here with us. The space of being, the space of really, truly, deeply being together, and grounding into the space of being, which is ever present, is what's most essential. So we start to become empowered in the true, real sense of the word. The word power is often thought of in a negative connotation, and is often thought of as trying to control people or manipulate people or use people. But that's not the true empowerment. That actually comes from a place of disempowerment. It's actually a lack of power that makes the corrupt dictator, whoever it is, act out in these kinds of ways. There's a true sense of power, a true depth of power, a true connection to Source, in which we're grounded in the state of being. We're grounded in the essence of being who and what we truly are. We're grounded in the sense of the ever-present I am, which transcends thoughts, feelings, sensory perception, transcends and includes all experience. So now you're not chasing an experience or running from an experience to have a sense of fulfillment and well-being. You're not chasing an experience or running from an experience to have a sense of fulfillment and well-being. Where we're conditioned as human beings to chase experience to be happy, right? Or to run from experience to be happy. So the sense is, I'm not happy now. This is the story of me. And if I get this thing out here, over there, or I get this thing out here, over there, then I'll be happy. If I don't get it, I won't be happy. And this is the human condition. This is the way the commercials work. This is the way the capitalist system, the market, all of these things work this way. The sense of feeling disempowered, a sense of feeling a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-love, and needing to chase something else to be happy, right? Maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't, but you'll try to get it. And this thing is outside of you. It's outside of your reach, right? So the major awakening, the huge explosion of consciousness, this great liberation happens when you realize that this sense of well-being and fulfillment is here now. And it's not in anything. It's not in any particular thing. It's not in any particular experience. It's the essence of who and what we are. How amazing is that? How liberating is that? How beautiful, how joyful, peaceful is that? And how empowering is that? This is the true empowerment. To recognize and realize that this sense of fulfillment and well-being is the essence of who we are. Not in the story of who I am, not in the ideas of who I am, not in the concepts of who I am, not dependent upon what I did or what I didn't do. But in this sense of being, grounding in this sense of being, and realizing who and what I truly am. Beyond the story, beyond the form, beyond the shape, beyond the size, beyond what appears to be a physical manifestation. And this is not something you need to think about or try hard to understand, put effort into. This is something you don't need to think about, you don't need to try hard to understand, and you don't need to put effort into. It's the essence of who you are. So we've been overlooking this simple ground of being. And to when we stop and we relax into this moment and the mind quiets, and if there's any gift I have to the world, this is the gift, right? For the mind to quiet and for a moment to stop chasing an experience or running from an experience, and to quiet into this now, here, this moment. And we recognize and realize that this moment, when we become present, maybe what feels like the first time, this moment is, as I said last time, amazing. So I see some questions down there. I'll get to them in just a moment. Just stay with me for a moment. And just we're grounding into the space of being. Being is a word that points to this space, this openness, where the mind is quiet. Doesn't mean that you try not to think. There's nothing wrong with thinking at all. Thinking is beautiful. Thinking is a creative tool. It's a tool of creation. It means there's an awareness that the essence of who we are is not a thought. It's not a story. It's not an idea. We're the essence from which every story, every idea, every dream, every imagining arises and falls back into. And this is the true sense of empowerment. Anthony says, where does acceptance come into play? Timothy says, but it's the people around me that I can't escape. What do I do? As we change our vibration, as we shift in our consciousness, and this is from my own experience and many other people's experiences, we start to not be in the same resonant field with many of the people that are around us, because we've shifted in our consciousness, and they're still at the consciousness that we were before we shifted, right? So it makes perfect sense. We're awakening, we're exploding into this space together, and now, as we've shifted in our consciousness, we've opened to this another level of vibrational frequency. We're opening, and it's very exciting. Others have not. So now, there's two things that can happen. And really only two things, because we're not going backwards, right? We're only going forward. So, think of it like a train. You say, this is the train I'm on. I'm on the train of spiritual awakening. I'm on the train of self-realization. I'm on the train of spiritual liberation. I'm on the train of freedom, of love, of inner peace, of empowerment. This is the train that I'm on. This is the train that I'm on. And I'm on that train. And I'm going. And this is the direction I'm going. You, whoever you are, you can ride with me on this train. Whoever you are. There's no discrimination at all. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what kind of music you like. I don't care what you're into. You can be on this train with me if you want to be on this train with me. If you don't want to be on this train with me, I totally support that as well. You have your own journey to go on. If you don't want to be on this train with me, you can take a different train. So you get on your train and you start going down the tracks. You start going down the tracks and you know where you're going, right? You know what's most important. Some people are going to get off the train, right? They don't want to go the same place you're going. And that's okay. You know why that's okay? Because now those seats are open for people who really want to be on that train with you to get on the train. And there's people that do, and they're excited to go the same place you're going, and they're really blessed to be on that train with you. But they can't get on that train if those seats aren't open and available for them. And sometimes, you make different stops along the train, along the tracks, different train stops, and sometimes people that got off the train, maybe 10, 11 stops down, they kept back on. And they had to take their own journey for a little while, but now they want to be on with you. So the point is to make the space available for people, first of all, to get clear on where you're going and what's most important. And if you're tuning in right now, then you are getting into a space of clarity on what's most important and where you're going. And then for people who want to be on the space with you in a conscious way, to make available for them to come into being. And those people will arise. And even through my page and the Big Low community on Facebook, online, people are finding each other that are on this path together and connecting and supporting each other and learning and growing and evolving together. So all of that is totally available to happen and will happen. What's most important is you just stay on your train. And if people don't want to go the same place you're going, if they don't get it, they don't understand it, they think you're weird, they think you're odd, people are free to think what they want, to feel what they want. We bless them. We bless their journey. And we stay true to the deepest sense of meaning, purpose, inspiration, the deepest call of our heart on our path. And look, this is our train right now. We're all on this train together right now. So you're in the right place. You're with the right people. All's perfect. All's well. Welcome, Martin. Welcome, Tony. Yeah. And this ground of being becomes what's primary. And the doing becomes what's secondary. And the energy, there's a vibrational frequency in this field of presence together that feels so good. It feels connected. Because when we're present, we are now connected with all that is. We're plugged in with all that is. Because all that is here now. It's so good to see you, Allegra Miller. I miss you. Let's catch up on a personal phone call here soon. When we're present, we're connected with all that is. We're in a sense of being plugged into the source of all that is, the energy. And what's amazing is all that's required is to be present. Because this connection to all that is right now. When we recognize that the connection to all that is right now, and it's never not right now, then we realize, wow, actually, all that I need to do to be connected to all that is, and to be connected to my source, to the source, to God, to Spirit, is to be present. Is to be present. Because everything that's happened in the entire universe, every lesson, every sign, every signal, every sense of guidance, every sense of intuition, every sense of magic, every sense of miraculousness, every sense of amazingness, every sense of pain and pleasure and happiness and sadness, it's all happening now. To be present is to be connected to all that is, to be in the flow state. I cannot figure out what this is that's crawling on me, but it must be the sense of like this vibration so high and powerful that things are just wanting to get closer to me. Insects and bugs and Facebook people. Connection. So there's the connection, there's the flow state, and there's a sense of being available, being receptive to guidance of the universe. What I sometimes call God, Spirit, Source, right? These are just words for something that transcends words. And the sense of availability for that intelligence to move through us and guide us in the moment. And then we can not know what we're going to say, not know what we're going to do, and just say, in an intuitive, energetic sense, make me available to be of service to the whole. Make me available to use me to be of service to the whole. And then words start coming out of your mouth, and ideas and visions and imaginations, and you're plugged in, you're connected. You're tapped in. And this is the greatest feeling in the world. And like I said last video, this is what I'm interested in inviting people to open to connect to share with. And then you're not looking for anything outside of yourself, right? So this sense of the guru or the savior is old school Dinosaur, right? Someone can be a clear reflection. Someone that's tapped into the source can be a reflection to recognize, to remind you, to spark you, to be an inspiration, to recognize that inside yourself. So I'm not saying that there aren't people that can be sources of inspiration, that can be sources of sparks of connection. Certainly there are. There are for me. That's why I'm sharing what I'm sharing. But not to get attached or identified with a story of someone else. With the story of someone else as some perfect being, and they're going to come and they're going to save you. It's not going to work like that. And we need to get over that. This is like child's play, right? We need to mature to this level of, no, I need to step into responsibility and empowerment in myself. Someone else can support me in that, for sure. And if I'm coming into a deep sense of responsibility and empowerment myself, I'll actually take the responsibility to ask someone when I desire or when necessary to support me. Sometimes empowerment is asking for support. That's the deepest empowerment, having the humility to ask for support. And recognizing that the change, the sense of transformation is going to come from you taking the responsibility and empowerment in yourself, not from some external authority, not from Jesus, not from me, not from any guru, from you, from you, from you. You are the one. There is only one, and if there is only one, that means that you are the one. All of these great sages and awakened beings are all available for support when we take the responsibility and transformation ourselves. And it's so amazing the synchronicity that starts to happen. All these people start appearing and arising, and they come to your aid, and there's a quote here, there's a video here, there's a book here, there's a poem here. All of these things become available to us, and the explosion in consciousness becomes so dynamic when we start to say yes to the journey inside ourselves. Then everything becomes available. The universe becomes available to support us. But if we don't become empowered and available in response to the journey inside ourselves, and we're looking for something outside of ourselves to save us, then it doesn't work. And then we're stuck in blaming other people because they didn't help us the way they were supposed to. They're not doing it right. Everyone's doing it wrong. There's a sense of, blame and judgment, and we're stuck in this kind of pattern that we can't escape from. But when we start to take this sense of responsibility, what percentage of our suffering are we responsible for? What percentage of my suffering am I responsible for? When I start to recognize and realize that I'm responsible for 100% of my suffering, that's an incredibly empowering space to be in. Because what that means is I have the power to transform my life, to change my life, to awaken to the essence of who I am. And things start to get really exciting. And that responsibility comes into being. Yes, paying attention to the signs, and that happens when we're in the moment. When we're present in the moment, then we're able to pay attention to the signs. We're looking, we're noticing. Anyone else have any other questions or comments? Just really notice how good it is to be here, to be in this ground of being. How easy it is to be in this ground of being without the need for any external validation, anything, not the need for anything. How free it feels, how liberating it feels. To be in love with this moment without the need for a next moment. To be in love with the beauty of who you are and what you are. To be in a sense of peace and serenity and harmony with this moment. Because this moment is what exists. And to embrace then each moment, however it arises, as a gift. Without the sense of anything to lose or anything to gain. Just being here now in a space of gratitude. Thank you so much, my friends. Namaste. See you in the next now.